The only thing I will confirm is that somehow we have ended up on my cold hard floor. Hi, hey, hello, and welcome to the probably most anticipated video format in the makersphere here on YouTube, aka welcome to Everything I Knit in 2024. If you're new here, my name is Claire, and I really like to make things, as you might be able to guess from the name of my channel. I mostly knit, though I have been venturing out into some other things, but more on that later. It is the 31st of December, and I can say for certain that I will not finish anything else this year. I did consider making this video a bit earlier, and seeing all the YouTube videos that have already been uploaded, I think a lot of people also did that, but I thought it would be fun to just film this video on the last day of the year so that I would actually be able to show you everything I made this year. And I have 30 projects to show you guys, which means we have quite a lot to get through. So without further ado, let's jump right in. I split my projects into 3 categories. I have 15 garments to show you guys, 10 accessories, and 5 pairs of socks, which I guess you could count as accessories or garments, but I felt like they deserved their own little category. Starting off with my garments, which I will be going through in chronological order. The first piece that I have to show you is my clematis sweater. I will be trying on some of these, but not all of them. I'm starting to realize how difficult it'll be to film a try-on with a mic, but we'll try our best. So I'm not planning on trying on every single piece, but I thought for the garments it could be fun to show you at least a few of them. The first project that I finished this year is the clematis sweater by Emma Maya. Also, excuse the noise. If you can hear fireworks outside, I'm so sorry. Germans are crazy when it comes to New Year's Eve, and they start doing their fireworks like 3 days in advance. It is not midnight yet. I promise it is not midnight. They're just having fun. But I hope you can't really hear because I'm using this cool mic now. I made my clematis sweater using BC Garn Summer and Cashmere and Sandus Garn Alpaca Fulgetrat in 2 different tones of green, which kind of gave this marled effect. Now, I don't wear this too much, which is really sad because every single time I do wear it, I realize how much I like it. I think one of the reasons why I don't wear this as much is that it kind of ended up being like an inch shorter than I wanted it to. And I've been too lazy to fix it because to fix it, you have to rip out all the button bands. And I didn't want to do that. But yeah, because this is so cropped, I can only wear it with certain bottoms because for the other ones, it just looks odd. So I think that's one of the reasons I don't wear it a lot. But it is my second liked project on Ravelry, I believe. So people seem to like it. I also do like it. I think it's very cool, still very simple. But yeah, the color is not exactly what I was going for, and it's too cropped. We'll have to see if I fix it ever. I do wear it sometimes. I guess I could just be wearing it more often. My second finished object is the To Be So Lonely sweater by Karis Knitting. If you've been following this channel for a while, you might have seen this one before. I talked about it quite at length, and every single time I basically just talked about how much of a flop this was. But in short, my gauge was very off, which made this way too small, but I couldn't frog it because it's 3 strands of mohair, which is impossible to frog, meaning I couldn't restart. And then I also, because my gauge was so off, had way too little yarn, so I couldn't just make it longer and bigger. So I do fit into it, but it's very different from the vibe that the sweater has and that I was going for. It just looks like I'm wearing a too small sweater when this is clearly like a layering piece that should be loose and cool. So yeah, this has been on my upcycle list for forever. I'm planning to make something else out of this I've been too scared because I'm terrified that this will just turn into a massive tangled yarn ball that I won't be able to save, basically. So that's why it's just been lying in my closet like this. And I've never worn it, not a single time, which is really sad because it's really cute. And it's 100% my fault, not the pattern's fault or the designer's fault. But yeah, this was probably one of my biggest flops this year. Moving on to my third finished garment, which is a bit happier. This is my Shine Bobble sweater by Sally knit out of Drops Lima, and I will try this one on as well. Oh, I'm wearing the mic. That is not ideal. This was my first ever cable knit, and I think it's super cute. It's very pretty. However, I still don't really wear this a lot. I do wear it occasionally, but not as much as I expected to wear it. And I think the reason is that I realized I don't like these cable motifs. I love all over cables that are very regular. Like the first pattern that comes to mind is something like the sweater number 15, where it's basically the same cable design all over. I really like those, but I realized after knitting this that these types of motifs are not really my thing for a sweater. I don't know what it is. Like genuinely, I can't tell you why I don't like it. I just don't like the way they look on me. I've gotten compliments for this sweater, so other people don't seem to be seeing that, but if I look in the mirror and I'm wearing this, I just don't feel like myself. That's the best way I can describe it. So that's the reason I don't really wear this a whole lot, even though it looks really nice. I think it's a very pretty piece. It's just not really my style. But other than that, this was a win. It was really cool. I had a lot of fun knitting the cables. I love knitting cables, even though I don't necessarily love wearing them all the time. But it was very fun to knit, so, and I learned a lot. Overall, a win, I would say. The fourth piece I will also not be trying on. It is actually a crochet piece, but I decided to include it. It's the only crochet piece I made this year, and it's the bell sleeves cardigan, which is a free tutorial by Chenda DIY on YouTube that I followed. I wanted to go out of my comfort zone, try a new color, try a new style, a new fit. So I made a tie front cardigan, which has big bell sleeves, as the name suggests, and I used pink. Now, after finishing this, I realized why I never wear pink. I just don't think it suits me at all, especially this type of like piggy pink. It just does not look good on me. I don't like myself in it. I think that's a more important part. Like, if you like wearing this color, do whatever you want. I'm not saying you look bad. I just hate this color on me. It's just 100% not myself. So this is an example of me trying to get out of my comfort zone and realizing why I'm not comfortable with it. It just, I hate the way I look in this. It's also a little bit too tight. Again, it was the first time I was doing crochet. My gauge was kind of off and it didn't work out perfectly. It's too small. Now, the fact that this is too small on me means I also have no one in my life that I can give it to. For reference, I'm 5 foot tall. If it doesn't fit me, chances are it's not going to fit any of my other friends. They're all a fair bit taller than me. Maybe I'll try finding someone who knows a teen or a child that might like this, because I feel like they would fit into this quite well. Like a little girl in a bright pink, cute little cardi, that could be sweet, right? But it's not my style at all. I probably will never do this again. It was a fun thing, you know. I didn't learn crochet. I knew how to crochet before, but it was my first crochet garment. It was a fun thing. I enjoyed it, but I'm probably not going to do it again. I feel like this is the theme for a lot of knits in the beginning of the year. There were just a lot of flops, sadly, but we persevere. Quite honestly, in the beginning of the year, I was knitting and crocheting so much because I was kind of, not to get deep or anything, but I was kind of going through a rough time, and I definitely used knitting as a coping mechanism. And at the time, I didn't even care if it would be something that I would like. It was literally just the process of making things and distracting myself with knitting that was important to me. So quite honestly, I can't even be mad that a lot of these pieces I don't wear, because they serve their purpose at the time of making them, which is just to make them and be distracted. But moving forward, I do think I want to make sure that I wear my pieces as well. I also did learn a lot about the things that I do like to wear and don't like to wear through having so many flops, I think. There's a good in everything, right? I'm okay. What I'm trying to say is I'm okay with not loving all of these pieces. I think every single one of them taught me something. And I'm just gonna try not to repeat these mistakes in the future. The next piece I actually don't have with me because it was a gift knit, but I'll insert a picture of me trying it on here. And that is the Fortune sweater by Petite Knit that I knit out of Drops Kid Silk. I made this one for my sister, and honestly I had quite a lot of trouble, even though it's a very simple pattern. I don't know what went wrong, but I struggled quite a bit with the lace pattern placement. I just messed that up quite a bit. This was the first raglan, surprisingly. I've never knit a raglan before that one, so that was fun. The second thing that I noticed or learned when doing it is that I have a lot of trouble making clothes or garments for other people. As I just mentioned, I'm 5 foot tall, so a lot of the time I can't comprehend how long I have to knit pieces for other people. So usually I tend to make my knits quite a bit shorter than what the pattern suggests. And I'm so used to that. Like this piece, my sister's a bit taller than me, so this piece I tried on and thought I can't knit this longer. It'll look ridiculous. And then I gave it to her and it was too short. So I just really have a hard time realizing how big I have to make garments for other people, which I guess makes sense. It was the first time that I knit something for someone else. Actually, that's a lie. I made something for my mom, but it was the second time that I knit something for someone else. And I guess it's just something I need to practice and basically get over the fear of making things too long. Yeah, I did not go back in to fix it because I actually didn't have enough yarn to do that. But in the future, if she does want it longer, I will do that. She did say it's fine. Like, she was a bit uncomfortable, but she said it was fine. But I don't know if she said that just to be nice to me because I knit her a sweater and she didn't want to be like, I don't like it, or if she actually meant it. So we'll have to see. I might fix it in the future and add a couple of centimeters of length. However, it is made out of mohair, which means it will be terrible to frog the ribbing. I'll have to see. Maybe I'll just have to make her another sweater that fits better. But again, learned a lot. Moving on to my next piece, which is actually the first summer piece that I made ever, I think, which is the Ophelia blouse by Tamara. I always forget her last name. Tamara from Starcrest Knits. This is a beautiful silk blouse that I am too lazy to try on. I'm sorry. I'll add pictures as per usual. This one is super cute and you can kind of customize the fit. This was also the first garment that I made on, I think, 3mm needles with fingering yarn, but it went by much quicker than I anticipated. I really like it. It feels great. I'm sure I didn't talk about the yarn. I knit this out of the suggested yarn, which is Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, and I do love the way this yarn feels on my skin. This one, however, I also didn't wear that much. Not because I don't like it, but simply because I don't have too many opportunities to wear it, because this is something that I would not wear to school. I have worn it a couple of times for like going out with friends. I mean, I wore it to my birthday dinner. I wore it to a couple of other dinners with friends. So I have worn it, just not as much as some other pieces. I have completely lost count which piece we are on, but next we have my first cardigan, which is my Ariadne cardigan by Elisabetta Serron, made out of Drops Lima and Drops Kid Silk mohair, which I still had lying around. These were leftovers, basically, and I decided to put them to good use. Actually, no, true. Okay, I forgot. I actually had a vest that I never wore that I unraveled, and then I re-knit it into this. I have a project vlog, so check that out here, I think. Maybe here, somewhere. And I really love it. I really wear this a lot because it's just so easy to throw on over anything. It's dark gray, fits with everything. I really like this piece and it has a great fit. So this was a, what is the opposite of a flop? It was good. I like this one. We are now kind of around May, I want to say, so the next pieces are all summer pieces. And for quite a few of these, I actually have vlogs where I talk more about them. So I will link these in the info card and also down below. Right, before I forget, I will also leave links to all of the Ravelry pages down below. So if you are curious about more details, you can check those out, or all of my podcast episodes where I talk about these knits. I just won't be going into too much detail in this video because then this video would be 3 hours long. And you can find all of that information in my podcasts and on my Ravelry pages. So be sure to check those out if you are curious about more details for any of these pieces. I fear this looks really stupid layered over this t-shirt, but I thought a black t-shirt would be the best base to show off pieces. I guess it didn't work out for this one, but this is my Breeze cardigan by knit. I really, really love this knit. I won't lie, I made this my entire personality for like 3 months. It's so cool. It was the first piece that I made that is seamed. So you knit it in panels and then seam it up, which I feel like online everybody talks negatively about that. Everyone hates knitting things in panels and seaming them up. So I never wanted to try it, but I actually loved it. It just made me happy because I felt so accomplished whenever I finished a piece. And I also got excited all over again every time I cast on a new piece. So I really loved making this as a seamed piece. And I do think I'm going to make more of these in the future. I also loved the lace details on this. The only thing I don't really love about this is the color. I love yellow so much, and it was definitely a trend color this year. Not this color specifically, but just yellow in general. But I just think this shade of greenish yellow does not suit me very well. So that does make me a little sad. I've considered dyeing it over with another color, maybe a green, but I haven't done it yet. So leave your opinions in the comments down below. Should I dye this? If yes, which color should I dye it? I reckon I can only really go green or another shade of yellow, or maybe orange, but I hate orange because it's a yellow base. So I think I'm kind of limited in that regard, but yeah, I have considered that. One more thing that was cool about this is that this was the first Korean pattern that I knit. There's actually an English version out now, but I started knitting it before that was released, so I actually used the original Korean version, which was very fun and surprisingly simple to understand. I was a bit worried about understanding the knitting terms, but I just Googled a couple of them that I didn't immediately understand, and it was fine. So that opened up a whole new realm of possibilities because now I can knit Korean patterns, I guess, which is cool. The next summer top that I knit is the Yoko top by Knitting for Olive, and I knit this using Knitting for Olive cotton merino in the color Strawberry Ice Cream. This is also a very special knit. I feel like I've been saying this about every single project, but this one is special because I actually won the yarn in a Knitting for Olive giveaway. It was the first yarn giveaway that I ever entered, and I actually won. So that was cool. I entered it like 3 hours before it closed or something, and I got this yarn and the pattern for free. So thank you, Knitting for Olive. I was super happy to receive this. That said, I've never worn this piece, ever. I love the construction. That's kind of the reason why I got it. I thought it was so cool because it is constructed sideways. However, it's just very revealing, so I'm not really comfortable wearing this on its own. I have to layer it over a t-shirt, and even then, I just kind of never wore it. I don't really know why, because I do think it's super cute. Looking at it in my window reflection, I do think it's super cute, but I think again, it's firstly something with a color. I just don't suit pink, I think. And yet I made the mistake again to buy it because I thought it was so cute. Like, I love this color. I just keep forgetting that I don't like it in clothing that I wear. So yeah, it was definitely a color issue. And then also, as I just mentioned, a fit issue because it's just so revealing that I don't really wear it. Maybe I will wear it more next year. Here's to hoping, I guess. This last summer piece was probably the piece of the season. This is the Maggie cardigan by Petite Knit. And I knit this using a bunch of scraps that I had lying around, and I striped it. I absolutely love this, and so did people on the internet because it is my most liked project on Ravelry by far, which doesn't mean much. It still only has like 30 likes, but for Ravelry, that's a lot for me. So yeah, I absolutely love this. It was also a great stash buster. It didn't turn out as I envisioned, but it turned out in a way that I absolutely adore. I have a project vlog for it up here, so do check that out, and I really like it. I will say having a wool and mohair t-shirt for the summer is maybe not the smartest thing, because one, mohair is itchy on bare skin, and especially the mohair that I used, because I used mostly drops kid silk, which is notorious for being itchy. And then also it's just very warm. However, I got surprisingly much wear out of this anyway. I usually wore this layered over a top or a t-shirt, and then I actually wore it open, which I feel like nobody wears their Maggie cardigan open. Most people just wear it as a t-shirt, which, don't get me wrong, I also do, as you can see here. But most of the time I actually did wear it as a cardigan and just had the top one or two buttons closed, which I think was very trendy in the last year. But I loved it that way because it was a bit more airy and not as hot. So wearing it like that made it a lot more easy to style in the summer, because you can't really wear it in the fall with short sleeves either. So yeah, it was a great piece for kind of, I want to say September, August, September, when it was hot, but like the nights were a bit cooler that time of year. And I'm really excited to wear it again in the spring because I think it has such bright, fun spring colors. I'm super excited for that. So this one was definitely one of my favorite pieces, I think, that I made this year. And it also received a lot of love, so that made me really happy as well. I've been filming for half an hour and I'm not even finished with the garments, so I think I'm gonna have to pick up the pace a little bit. So moving on, this is my Heartless top by Emma from Midsummer Knits. This was a super highly anticipated release for me. She posted about it, I want to say a year and a half ago or something, so forever ago. And then it took a while for her to rate the pattern and do the testing. And then after the testing, it took another couple of months until she released the pattern. And this was such a highly anticipated knit for me that I literally checked her page like every other day to see if she had posted any news. So when this did come out, I immediately had to cast it on, and I think I might have been the first person to finish this after the release, at least the first person to post about it. So she actually reposted it and commented, and it was so cute. It made my day. I was so happy. Like, she's considerably larger of a creator than I am, so her shout out made me so happy. And not all designers do that, obviously. So when they do, I always get so excited when they repost things and like comment. It just makes my day, really. So yeah, she was super sweet. Yeah, talking about the actual piece, I love this. I knit this using Symphony Terra by knitwear, which is a hand-dyed yarn in the color Summer Romance, which is beautiful. It's basically all colors that I love put together. And I think this was actually a way to make pink wearable for me, because it's not all over pink, but just accents, which I think I can wear much better than an all over pink piece. So that made me really, really happy, because I do like the color, and this was a way to incorporate it without making me feel bad, basically. With that, I held a yarn called Atenea by Concept by Katja, which is similar to a mohair, but it doesn't have mohair in it. It's, I want to say, cotton, cashmere, and something else blend. I think wool blend. And it's basically a lace weight yarn, super soft and way less itchy, and also a bit cheaper than mohair. So that was a great find, that yarn. I love it. I do think I'm going to use it again, or at least that type of blend of yarn, because I really loved it for this piece. I do wear it mostly as a top, so without any layer underneath, and this does not itch at all. I can wear it super easily. The only trouble I had with this pattern was the wire in the heart cutout, because that kind of pokes out sometimes and pokes into my skin. But I think that was a me issue because I used the wrong type of wire. So if you do want to make this, I would suggest choosing the wire that she suggests, and then just being really careful with it, because yeah, that can be a bit troubling, especially if you're a beginner. That can be a little bit more difficult, I think. But it's super worth it for the result. I absolutely love it, and I've worn it quite a bit, I would say. It's a bit harder to style in the winter, but in the fall, I was living in this, so love this piece and would definitely knit again. We are now going into the last season of the year, which is my fall winter knits. This is my second storm sweater, which is a pattern by Petite Knit, and I knit this using Drops Cotton Merino in black. I absolutely adore this sweater. I wear it all the time. I made another version last year, which I made cropped and with bracelet length sleeves. And this time I just knitted fully to pattern, so very long sleeves, very long body, very cozy, very oversized. This is the size 2XS, and it's still really large. It has an insane amount of positive ease, so I wouldn't say I recommend sizing down, but I would suggest you consider sizing down if you don't want to absolutely swim in your sweater, because yeah, it is big, but I do love it. It's very slouchy. Again, I wear it all the time, especially when I don't want to think about what to wear. I just throw on jeans and the sweater, and it's a great outfit. Honestly, it looks really nice in my opinion. I don't know if in this lighting you'll be able to see, but it has a structured texture, like it's a texture knit made with knits and pearls. I love it. It adds a bit of interest without being too overpowering in my opinion. Other than the Shine Bauble sweater that I talked about earlier, where I don't like that it's too much of like a motif. This is not that. This is definitely way less in your face, but still adds interest. So yeah, I wear this all the time. Definite win. I will say that this yarn is a bit thinner or like just colder. It's not as warm as a 100% wool piece. So my first storm sweater, I knit that using Drops Lima. That is much warmer. I guess that's my own fault. I should have used a different yarn, but I wanted to try this one out. So I'm a little sad about that, but that does make it a great transitional piece for fall, I guess. So, you win some, you lose some. One more issue that I had is that I had to order more yarn, and it was a different dye lot, so there's definitely a color block going on down here. I'm not sure how well you will be able to tell on camera, but in natural lighting you can definitely tell. However, I've decided to simply ignore it, and no one's ever asked me about it, so either it's not obvious to people or they just don't care or they are too scared to tell me, which honestly, any of those answers I'm fine with. I've just chosen to ignore it. I might dye over it at some point. However, so far I've been too lazy to do it, so I just wear it as is and no one's ever commented on it. This is my cardigan number 8 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I knit this using Erica Knight Pure Tweed held with Isager Alpaca 1, I want to say, the lace weight alpaca by Isager in the color 61 or 63. It'll be on my Ravelry page down below. But I absolutely adore this. This was such a highly anticipated knit for me because of the yarn especially. I decided to really treat myself to a very nice yarn, and the Erica Knight Pure Tweed was exactly what I wanted. It's a very rustic tweed with multicolor flecks, and I adore multicolor flecks. I don't know what it is, but I just think having a very basic base color and then adding interest with these super bright neps, I'm here for it. I love it. So yeah, I absolutely adore this. I also love the buttons. Oh my god, the buttons. These are the Petite Knit bling buttons, and they're probably my favorite buttons ever. They sparkle so much. I absolutely love it. It also has pockets. I think I wore this for 2 weeks straight after finishing it, and I still wear it a bunch. It's super warm. It's super comfy. It's very boxy. So if you like your figure to show, this is not for you. But if you love boxy, huge, oversized cardigans or sweaters, you need to make this. It is great. It is one of my favorite pieces. I think I will wear this so much. I also plan on wearing this as an outer piece in the spring. I finished it a bit too late to be able to wear it like that this year. I did plan on making it basically as outerwear. However, I finished it, I want to say in November or like end of October, so it was way too cold already to wear it as an outer piece. But it's great for layering as well. It does surprisingly fit under my jacket. That was one of my worries because it's so oversized, but if you have a slightly bigger winter jacket, it does fit under that as well. And it's just the most cozy mix. I've never been cold in this, ever, so I love it, especially when I'm like in the office and just sitting down and not moving. I get cold really easily. It's basically just a wearable blanket. Adore it. Great. Would knit again. 11 out of 10. I hope my hair is not too much of a mess after putting on and taking off so many clothes. But this is the final piece that I will be trying on to show you, which are my mist sleeves by Garnogslikt on Instagram. These are just so pretty and elegant. I absolutely love them. When Knitting for Olive was having a sale a couple of months ago, I decided to splurge and I got this yarn. And it's so pretty. It's the undyed colorway of their soft silk mohair. It's the perfect cream color. It is really pretty. I haven't worn it too much yet because it's so elegant that I don't know what to wear it with. But yeah, I do love it. I also haven't finished it too long ago. I think it's been a month, so I just haven't worn it too much yet, but I do love it. I think it's beautiful. It's also really lightweight because it's made out of mohair. So I do really like this. It's so nice and definitely a slightly different style, which I'm super happy to try out, and I think I will be wearing this a lot. This is also, however, one of those things that I think is just a tad bit too cool to be wearing right now. I remember wearing it for my last podcast episode, and by the end of it, I was shivering because it's only sleeves, and while the sleeves are quite warm because it's a mohair, it's just not a full sweater. So I was freezing by the end of it. However, for fall or spring, I'm really excited to be able to wear this. I'm too lazy to take this off, so I will actually be wearing this while I talk about my last finished garment as well, which was the Hunstholm sweater by Petite Knit. This one was a gift knit for my brother, so I don't have that anymore. I gave it to him on Christmas, and he really liked it. It fit him perfectly. I would say I made sure to actually knit this longer. I took his measurements before, which was smart. I learned from my mistake from the sweater for my sister. So I took measurements of a sweater that he liked the fit of and ignored everything that told me to stop knitting and actually made it to those measurements. I actually made it a bit longer because I was scared of making it too short. So this time I added 2 centimeters instead of taking them out. And I still knitted it shorter than what the pattern said, but longer than what his sweater was. Does that make sense? Anyway, it fit. It fit great. I'm proud of myself for sticking with it and trusting what I measured out instead of trusting my gut, because my gut told me to make it shorter, and that would have been a mistake. So yeah, the way I made it, it fits him great. He likes it. I'm happy. So those were all my garments. I've been talking for forever, so I will try to go through my accessories a bit quicker. The first one that I have is a free-handed beanie that I made from leftovers. This is Wool and the Gang Al Pacino Merino. It's really thick, it's really comfy. It's just a free-handed beanie. Love it. It's the only hat I own, so I wear this quite a bit. Then I have Ripka pouch number 1 and 2, which are these cute little fish pouches by Rat and Sea Witch. I made these using just scraps that I had lying around. They're super cute. I have one for my AirPods and then one for lipstick, and I love them. If you have cute scraps lying around and don't know what to do with them, check out the Ripka pouch. It's a super quick, super fun little pattern. It's a great little pattern for the current trend of putting charms on your bags, and they're also functional, so what more could you want? Then I made the Sophie scarf by Petite Knit, as well as the Litter Curvy scarf by Rat and Sea Witch again. This one was actually my first test knit ever. You can put a customized word or sentence on your scarf. It's really cool. It's made with knits and pearls, but it makes it a bit more fun and interesting so you don't get bored while knitting a super long scarf. So if you're a beginner, or even if you're not a beginner and you want a cool little customizable scarf, check out her pattern. What a look. Then I made a cute little scrunchie from banana fiber yarn. It was my first time trying this type of yarn, and it's really cool. I just love the colors on this. It is so pretty. They're like kind of metallic and so many different shades. It's the most pretty thing ever. And then I used Knitting for Olive mohair just because I didn't have enough of this, sadly. It was just a tiny mini skein. So Yeah, I kind of like it though because I think the contrast is actually really cool, and I absolutely adore this little scrunchie. It is so pretty. This yarn, let me tell you, prettiest yarn I've used this year, I think. And then we're on to my last accessory that I still have here, which are these fingerless gloves with a little bow that I made last week actually. This was also handspun yarn that I got at a fiber festival. These are so cute. They're just very simple gloves, really, because my hands get cold really easily, and I really like them. I probably look so silly right now. Should I put on the hat as well? It'll mess up my hair though. How stupid do I look? So these are all the accessories that I have here right now. As you can tell, my voice is starting to leave me. That was a very quick fire way to go through all the accessories that I have here with me. My voice is also starting to go. I do have 2 more accessories to talk about though. I also made a scarf number 2 for a friend. She can't wear wool, so I made it using Sandnesgarn Tinline. And yeah, I made that pattern before. It's a really cute scarf. And then I also knit a Oslo hat for my dad for Christmas. So this is it. It's a great basic hat pattern. It was my first time knitting it. I was a bit confused by the turn thing, but there are great videos explaining that online if you're as confused as I was about that. I guess I understand the hype. It's a very much hype pattern by Petite Knit. I don't know if I mentioned, but you could probably find free patterns that do something similar. However, I was lazy. I didn't want to search. I just made the Oslo hat, and I made it in this really bright red color because my dad used to have a hat in that color, and then he shrunk it in the wash. So yeah, I just had a lot of fun making him a new bright red beanie. I need to take off all of these accessories because it's getting way too warm, and I probably look super silly. Oh god. Okay, okay. Now, the last category I have is socks. I didn't actually knit that many socks this year. I only knit 5 pairs. So let me show you. The first pair, that I finished are these Kayla socks. They're from the 52 Weeks of Socks book, and I made them using a hand-dyed yarn, Stargirl, by Typical Bliss. I love this yarn. It is so pretty. It has washed out a bit because I threw them in the washing machine once, and I don't think that was good for the color. The yarn is fine, it's just the color is kind of washed out now. So I do think I'll have to wash these by hand, which is a little bit of a bummer, but oh well. But yeah, these are super cute. They fit great. I love them. Then the next pair that I made, I freehanded. These are, I forgot what I named these. Spring bow? No. I actually considered making a pattern for these and wrote it up, but then I never published it. So if you want this, I guess I can put it up for free somewhere. But yeah, it's just really simple socks that have a slit here, and you can tie them together with little bows, and it's super cute. However, have I worn these once? Nope, haven't. They're just, they're not really just normal socks, right? Like I would not wear them under jeans or something. I imagined, like my vision was kind of wearing them with a skirt or a dress, like a short skirt or a dress, and then having these poke out of my shoes. But I completely forgot that I don't wear dresses or skirts. So I never wore these, but they are cute and I'm planning on wearing them. They have a cute little ruffle on top here. That actually took me a while to figure out because I had to figure out the kind of rate of ruffling, like how ruffled I wanted it. And they have 3x1 ribbing, I think. I made these using Lang Yarn's Jawoll, which is super soft. Really liked it. It's a very thin sock yarn. So if you want something very thin and fine, definitely check out this yarn. I think it's great for that. Yeah, one day I will wear these. One day, hopefully. The third pair of socks I made were the Riverbed socks, also from the 52 Weeks of Socks book. I knit these using sock yarn from Wollerödel, which is a German craft store chain. and I did not like them at all. I didn't realize they had a lot of reverse stockinette, and I hate reverse stockinette. I don't know, I just did not like the look of them. So I gave them to my mom because she liked them. Not because I thought they were, like, I thought they were ugly, but she liked them. That's why she got them, right? I didn't give her socks that she hated. She liked them, that's why she got them. And I prefer her having them to them just lying around in my house without use. So that was the third pair. The fourth pair were my Brat socks, which I actually adore. I had this bright green yarn in my stash, and then I had some leftovers of the typical Bliss yarn, and I decided to make cute little Brat socks. I wasn't super obsessed with the whole Brat thing that was going on, and I definitely wouldn't have made a larger garment because I was aware it was just a very short trend, right? But because I had this yarn anyway, I got it for another project a while back that didn't work out. I didn't really mind if it would be outdated like 2 months later, and it was just a really fun piece. I actually adore these socks. I wear them so much. I just made a little chart on Stitch Fiddle for the Brat writing, and other than that, these are just vanilla socks, free-handed. Adore them. The color is just so fun and bright. I love wearing these. And finally, the last piece that we'll be talking about, my Hollingbourne socks. These were my first pair of colorwork socks. These were actually my first piece ever made with all over colorwork. These were a labor of love. These took me forever. I had to redo parts so many times. I've talked about it at length in my podcast. I had a lot of trouble with these, which makes me even more proud to be able to show them off and show you how beautiful they are. I really only wear them at home because they are way too precious to wear in shoes. Like, look at this. They're so pretty. They are a bit difficult to get on, but they do fit. I think that's a common issue with colorwork socks, that they don't fit, but these fit, so these are a success. It was really difficult, but they're a success, and I'm so proud of these. Now, I do have one more project that I would like to give an honorable mention to, which is my first ever sewing project that I just released a video for. If you're curious, check out this vlog for it. I sewed my first dress, which is my first sewing project ever. I'm really happy with it. I'm super proud of it. I'm planning on learning how to sew properly in the next year. And this was just like the first little thing that I wanted to try out. I'm really happy with it. There we go. So these are all my projects. I thought it would be fun to just have a couple more stats. If you only want to see the pieces, this is the end, but I do think it's always fun to talk a little bit about some stats. So I freehanded 5 pieces this year, which is not a lot. I thought it would have been more. Definitely want to freehand or design more pieces in the coming years and use less patterns. So yeah, 5 pieces that I freehanded. My most knit designer was Petite Knit with, again, 5 pieces that I made by her. That is a lot. I also want to knit more smaller designers. I do think I knit from quite a few different designers, but yeah, again, I did knit 5 pieces from Petite Knit, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I do think she just rarely misses, so I know that if I just want a basic pattern that fits well, I know I can always go back to her patterns, but I would just like to be a little bit more experimental in the coming year. For the last part, I actually need my laptop because I don't know these stats by heart, but I knit up roughly 19,171 meters of yarn. Now keep in mind, I did hold strands double or triple for a lot of pieces, so the actual meterage that I knit would be lower. But yeah, I used up 19,171 meters of yarn, which equaled to 5,246 grams. I knit through more than 5 kilos of yarn. That is crazy. In using 50-gram balls of yarn as like a standard unit, I knit through 105 balls of yarn. That's crazy. As I mentioned shortly earlier in the video, at the beginning of the year, I had kind of a rough time, and I definitely used knitting as a coping mechanism, and I also had a lot of time. So in the beginning of the year, I had way more free time, and then throughout the year, I slowly got busier and busier with school, and then I got a new job and just other things, life and hanging out with friends and stuff like that. So by the end of the year, I was super busy and I didn't knit as much just because I didn't have the time. But yeah, 105 balls of yarn, like more than 5 kilos. That's insane. Now, in the middle of the year, I also tried to start stash busting, but I kept buying yarn, so that didn't go great, right? However, I did think it would be fun to have an update. So my current stash has 14,843 meters of yarn, and that is 3,970 grams, which is just under 80 standard balls of yarn. So comparing these numbers, I guess I could technically knit through my entire stash within a year if I didn't buy any new yarn. Now, am I going to buy yarn? Probably. But I still think it's fun to know that I could knit through my entire stash within a year. Like comparing it to what I knit up in the last year, what I have right now is less yarn. So I should definitely be able to get through this, which is really cool to know. I don't know. Maybe not everyone is a numbers nerd, but I love numbers. So that's that. If you watched through all of this video, thank you so much for spending time with me. I just checked and I'm at over an hour filming, so this will probably be quite a long video. But yeah, thank you so much for spending time with me. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite piece was. And also let me know if you have any goals for the coming year. Like maybe do you have a stash busting goal, or how many projects you want to make, or just specific projects that you want to make? Definitely let me know down below. If you're curious to see where my knitting and sewing and fashion and maybe one day design journey will take me, I would love for you to subscribe to follow along on the journey. Despite all the fireworks going off in the background already, it is not the new year quite yet. However, I still hope that you have a happy and healthy start to the new year, and I hope to see you again very soon. Bye! Did I fully forget to take a thumbnail and already put down all of my filming setup, and I'm therefore now filming on the floor? Maybe. It's a possibility that that is what happened. I will neither confirm nor deny. The only thing I will confirm is that somehow we have ended up on my cold hard floor. With all my knits. Happy New Year, guys!